And we are live. Hello and welcome everyone to another Education Wednesday here at Ideal Traits. Your host, Monica, and I actually have a special guest here today. So you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Kelly?
Hey everyone. So my name's Kelly Wilmott and I am one of the team leads over here at IdealTraits.
Excellent. Yes. So we are going to be going over today where to find your next ideal hire. As always, if you do have any questions throughout today's presentation, please do feel free to utilize the chat feature, and a recording of this will be sent to you immediately after if you would like to review it. So with that being said, what do you say that we go ahead and get started? And Kelly, I think the main reason that I wanted you on today's webinar was because of the fact that you really do have a great insight, not only with being in the retention team, but also being able to hear the different struggles that people are having with finding that right fit, right? So really being able to go down what avenues, you've been kind of hearing in regards to how people, have been thinking outside of the box in that aspect. So I would just love to kind of get some takes on that.
Absolutely. So I get to speak to so many different agents a day. And obviously they're all in different stages of their hiring process, whether it be from infancy through to kind of having hired or done several hires, depending obviously on how long that they've been with us. Some have had their struggles based on finding, the really qualified, like licensed experience, the ones that are like the diamond in the rough kind of candidates that do take that little bit longer to find. They are there. But there are so many different avenues to finding that top talent rather than just relying on the job boards. Yes, the job boards are a great place to find like your ideal candidate. It makes it easy, right? That's why we have, the platform. We can post those ads out. Candidates can get funneled in if they like what they see in your ad, they like the compensation in your ad and things like that. But there are other ways and other sources available that a lot of other agents are using because it's an employee driven market right now.
Definitely.
It's very employee driven. The candidates can make the choices, and so you kind of, like you said, you have to think outside the box now. So whether you are advertising in any place possible other than your typical job boards like Indeed, ZipRecruiter. So social media is a big one. Whether it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, especially. LinkedIn is a great place to not only advertise what opportunities that you have running, but also source any potential candidates. Bless you.
Thank you.
And then, of course, you have other avenues too that include kind of like job fairs. It could be employee referrals, and employee referral programs are massive as well. And it also is a great additional benefit that you can add, obviously, to your list of benefits that you offer candidates. Any kind of networking, whether you're kind of at your local restaurant and someone's just sold you, a tiramisu and you didn't even want a tiramisu, I clearly
That's
want
a great
tiramisu
example.
but you're like, okay, I need to give my card to this person. I think there will be a great asset to my team. And then, essentially be able to add the candidate manually into the platform rather than actually, it come in automatically. So there are many other ways to find top talent other than
your typical
ads.
job boards, and
Yeah,
really
for sure.
breaking that down now kind of into each individual one, right? Because of the fact that when we're talking about social media, people often think, well, I'm going to post it and then, well, then what, right? I mean, how many of your social networks can you really reach out to, or your social peeps, and say, hey, do you mind giving this a quick share? Right? The idea of networking really goes so much more beyond just hitting post. Now, in addition to that, I mean, how often do we see sponsored ads on Facebook, Instagram,
Yep.
right? Pretty often. And the great thing about Ideal Traits is that we do give you the ability to be able to share these great job opportunities that you have from one convenient location. Because when you share each individual ad URL, right? If you archive that job ad, or if you pause it for whatever reason, it's going to say that this job is no longer available, even though you might have duplicated it and reposted the same exact ad, right? So what I always highly encourage my clients to do is go to your jobs tab, right next to the search bar, right above where you see all your jobs listed or your archived ones, right? Right above that, you'll see a little search bar. And right next to that, you see a career page option. Now, we've touched base on this in previous webinars and going over why sharing that is important. But again, going over that this is where you can view it. You can easily edit it from here. You can view it. You can even copy your URL as well as copying a QR code. Because like Kelly mentioned, what if you're out at a restaurant and this person has amazing customer service and that's the exact role that you're looking to hire for? Yeah, maybe they don't have their license yet. Or yeah, maybe they don't have the experience in the insurance industry like you're looking for specifically. But that personality alone is what made that whole experience memorable, right? And again, that's exactly what you want your customers to feel every single time that they talk to someone at your agency, whether it's sales, service, admin, even the owner, yourself, right? At the end of the day, they want to have that memorable experience, and these candidates are out there. And again, kind of honing back into the idea of someone that, a lot of us might be looking for someone that's licensed already or has that insurance industry experience. Maybe it's because you don't have time to train, and that's totally fine. But again, understanding that not only is it going to take a lot longer because the number of people that at which have that license, let alone are looking for a new opportunity, does not compare to the number of individuals that don't have that license yet, but they do have the right personality, right? And because of that, right, we can then assess them using the Ideal Traits assessment, see what their strengths are, see where you would need to better manage them, right? And then kind of being able to go from there. Now, is it a deciding factor at the end of the day? Absolutely not. You can still use your gut instincts, things of that nature, but it's as simple as sending them the assessment, right? That QR code that I had mentioned, Kelly mentioned giving them your business card, right? You could easily put that QR code directly onto your business card. Scan this for a job opportunity. We're always looking for great talent, right? Any active job ads that you have on your Ideal Traits account, they will directly show onto your career page as long as they're listed as active. If you ever archive, if you ever pause, they will not show up there. However, the active ads will. And again, being able to then reach out to those people as well as your career fair too. I mean, heck, how many people have their phones within arm's reach right now, right? Now, especially if you're going to an opportunity where you may be able to start networking, right? So then you easily have your Ideal Traits URL printed out, ready to go, just listed on your table. Scan here to apply. You can easily have them submit their resume, take that assessment, and then being able to kind of go from there. Because again, honing in on the idea that your right fit is really the right fit in regards to their personality.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's, yeah, go on.
Go ahead. No, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it's also important to remember that, yes, they can come to you, but you also have to go out there and source them yourself, especially if you're looking for that kind of licensed and experienced candidate, which are a lot harder to find. And I have spoken with agents in which they're doing exactly that. They have to go on the hunt to find that talent. And it might be at the agency down the road to see if they're interested in an opportunity. It might be actually going back through their archived candidates that they've had previously and seeing, oh my goodness, I gave them a 5-star, but they didn't have their license. I wonder if they've got their license now, and reaching back out to them. So there's a little bit of like being a little bit more active and trying to find those people that maybe you it was a missed opportunity at that time. It wasn't quite right timing for that particular candidate. Or again, LinkedIn is a great way for like professional networking. I'm sure a lot of agents use that. And actually being able to find people that are licensed and experienced that way, and then being able to say, hey, would you be interested in this particular offer? You look like you would be a great fit for our team. And if they're not, they're not.
Right. Oh yeah, the amount of times that I get messages from recruiters saying, hey, you do great in this position. I say, thank you so very much. However, I do appreciate where I work right now, and I've got no complaints. If that ever changes, I'll definitely reach out, right? But again, as simple as having a recruiter reach out, why can't you do the same thing? Mm-hmm. You have all the tools that at which a recruiter would utilize in regards to reaching out to these candidates, helping find them, right? Especially if they do have, those more requirements that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Right. And again, your requirements really should be the absolute bare minimum that they need in order
Yeah.
to start that conversation with you. Right. Let's say if someone had, let's say, 11 months of experience, right? Would you sit down with the interview them from because they don't have the 1 year? Well, yeah, of course. So why does that say that? Because if I only had 11 months under my belt so far, I wouldn't apply.
Yeah.
Maybe saying some experience, right? Or not
Or
specifying
prior
that
experience.
exactly.
Yeah.
Different things and rewording it as such. So this way, again, because at the end of the day, this is going to be the candidate's first interaction with seeing your job ad, especially on the job boards, right? You want to make sure that it's worded as such that's appealing to them and encouraging them to apply compared to discouraging. Now, will you get applicants that maybe don't meet your requirements at all, right? That are, quote,
Absolutely.
just,
It's going to happen.
applying, to get the government aid and such? Possibly. Is there anything that IdealTraits can do to prevent that? Not necessarily, because with the job boards, it is an equal opportunity, right? At the end of the day, they found something attractive in your ad that made them want to apply.
Yeah.
So, what you can easily do from your IdealTraits account, though, is you can easily move them to the archive folder, send them a rejection letter stating that they don't meet the requirements that you have, and being able to move along from there. Now, but just keep that in mind, too, of having the stigma that people only apply to get that, right? Is the hungry salesperson that's driven by that capital, driven by the sales, making those connections, closing it, and being able to provide a better lifestyle. Do you really think for the past how many years, right? Let's see, it's about 3 years, they've just been sitting at home doing absolutely nothing? I personally don't think so, right?
Yeah.
Because again, that type of personality is not someone that you
Hungry.
want working at you want someone that's hungry, that has that drive, that's willing to go out and get that sale, whatever it means. And the person that's been sitting at home probably isn't that person for you at the end of the day.
Agreed.
So I definitely agree with Kelly in regards to using LinkedIn as well, just because that is definitely a more of a professional way to reach out to people compared to messaging them on Facebook saying, "Hey, you trying to apply to my job ad?" It's definitely a lot more professional. And again, you can easily send them over your URL for your career page. So this way, if you do just want to showcase all of your open opportunities, or even just that one, it will showcase it as such. And you can
I
even
think it
put on those search filters in regards to what it is that you're looking for. LinkedIn offers a lot of great resources on being
for
able to find
sure.
people in your area, let alone the United States.
I think it's just about being in as many places as possible. So
Yeah.
candidates can find you because they're not going to just be looking at, say, like your position on the job boards. They're going to be Googling you. They're going to be looking at your online presence. They're going to be looking at, what kind of agency you are to work for, and things like that, what kind of team that you have. So being present on there as well, it just makes it easy for them to apply and kind of get a feel and to see if they will also be the right fit for you guys, because everybody has different people that they're going to gel with better. But also, it's a great opportunity for you to advertise your business as well. It's like you're growing. That's awesome. So being able to show that in all different avenues is going to be, a really big positive thing as well. But also with customers, obviously customers, are also a great kind of source too. And a customer might be on there just kind of like browsing, kind of, what information they might need. They might be calling for a quote soon, but then come across a job opportunity that might fit them. It might fit their spouse, or it might fit their son, daughter, or whoever. And then they can easily forward along or let them know that that opportunity is available within, their community. So just being visible in as many places as possible is just really key.
Yeah, and I love that you even pointed out the fact of treating these people like they could be a customer, because at the end of the day, I mean, hey, everyone needs insurance, right? I mean,
Right.
everyone got into this industry because of the fact that at the end of the day, my car right outside, it's got to be insured. The house that I'm currently in right now has got to be insured, right? So understanding that the conversations that you have with this candidate should eventually lead to the point if you were to reach back out in the future, not only with a potential job opportunity, saying, hey, I really do appreciate the conversation that we had. I just wanted to reach out to make sure that you're being taken care of in regards to all of your insurance needs. And again, seeing how that's going. I know that we were kind of waiting on you to get licensed, and then you can always introduce that in however that you would like, right? But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, these are potential clients for you as well. Maybe you don't have to be pushing super hard for the
For
sale
sure.
because, or like right after, hey, you didn't get the job, are you trying to buy insurance? Yeah, maybe not. But again, maybe a month or two down the line, or even going through your previously archived folder too, great source for
I
that as
think
well.
it I think it brings up a great point with regards to candidate engagement. Like candidate engagement is such a big thing. And when we talk about, seeing your candidates as potential customers, potential, clients, you have to treat them that way because at the end of the day, they're most likely, if they're obviously remote, it's slightly different, but they're going to be in the vicinity of your area. They're going to be in your community. And so you want to treat them with respect. And yes, they have to do the same for you. I absolutely get that. It's a two-way street. But I think being engaged with your candidates in a positive manner is only going to help kind of build that relationship. Not only are they going to have the right expectations from the get-go and being informed of the whole hiring process going throughout, but if they're not the right candidate, then being told that is just and this is from experience as well. Just being like having been ghosted by an employer, it's just nice for a candidate to know that okay, you weren't successful this time, or you didn't have the right qualifications, but you know what, if you were able to get this, then please reach out back in the day. We appreciate your time for applying, but you haven't been successful. And I think that is really key to building a positive environment, a positive workplace. And then also that candidate, if they do go onto Glassdoor, which a lot of candidates actually all candidates can do, they can go in and review your interview
Your
process and things
agency,
like that, and
yeah.
your agency and how that goes. So obviously you don't want any kind of negative experience to be placed into the online world, and so just having that positive experience from the get-go is only going to help. And also it's going to help when you are going through that process with somebody that you do want to take on, um, you know being great from the get-go, keeping them informed
Yeah.
of the hiring process. They know exactly what to expect. So if they do have other job opportunities going on at the time, especially licensed experienced agents, because they're going to be like a hot ticket, they at least know. And then you have the less chance of kind of ghosting.
Yeah, and I mean, even like with those experienced candidates that might have taken a job opportunity elsewhere. I mean, reaching back out in a few
Hmm.
months and saying, "Hey, how are you liking it there? Are you fitting with that company culture?" These are the things that I want to make sure that you feel
Hmm.
comfortable with at our agency, right? At
For
the end of the
sure.
day, with this, you are going to have to upsell yourself. You are going to have to out compete the agency down the road that's also looking to hire, and especially given this market as well, because at the end of the day, especially with all those requirements that I see in people's ads,
Hmm.
this is just what's bare minimum required in order to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, that's totally fine, but at the end of the day, finding that right fish for your agency specifically will take time. But things that you can easily do, like how we mentioned, and just kind of recapping again, you can post to social media, you can be
Yeah.
at those job fairs, things of that nature, any bulletins nearby, right? That, people might be stopping off at, LinkedIn specifically.
Yeah.
Um, as well as thinking about sponsorship as well. Now you can sponsor directly through ZipRecruiter or Indeed directly through us. And like how I mentioned before as well, if you want to sponsor on social media too, I know Facebook is a great place to be able to advertise that, because how often are people just scrolling on there, right?
Yeah. Right.
So considering that as well, and maybe setting aside a budget, because at the end of the day, people have to be attracted to the content side of your ad. They also have to like your compensation, right? So in regards to what it is that you're offering, And then that campaign budget is really essential. Again, just thinking about how urgent is your hire? Is this someone that you need to fill 2 weeks ago? Is that the role that you're looking to hire for? Or is it someone that you're looking to fill 2 months down the line? If it's 2 months down the line, we have time. We have time to be able to effectively go out there, maybe on the more organic approach, compared to someone that, again, is now in a desperate need for that hire. And it will take, obviously, more capital to be able to get that ad in front of the right person.
Yeah.
So
you want to be advertising for the person that you want in the office. So, let the candidate know about your company culture. Let them know about all the amazing benefits that you have. But obviously, it has to match kind of like the candidate you're looking for. So if you are looking for a licensed, experienced candidate, think about, what your top producer brings in. If you're looking for a CSR, think about your best CSR and what they do. And how, what they bring to the team, because of course you're going to want another one of them to add in. So kind of think about your ad when you're writing your ads, like as if you're writing an ad for someone on your team that you really respect, that you really want a second person of, because they're just crushing it.
Exactly. And I mean, you bring up a really good point with that as well, because we actually recently did just launch brand new templates that you can utilize inside of your IdealTraits account. And these are more curated because at the end of the day, the ones that we used to have, they're pretty cookie cutter, right? It fit the market that we were seeing a few years ago in regards to what it is that candidates are looking for. However, now they want those questions answered. They want full transparency. They want to know everything that you have to offer in your hands without saying, oh, well, you can always inquire, or, apply and we'll discuss it during the interview. Why do that when I could scroll down 2 more ads and then I see exactly what it is that I'm looking for? Why today, right? So keeping that in mind as well, because at the end of the day, you do want to offer that transparency to really have them envision what it would be like to work for you. And even pulling aside then your top salesperson or your top CSR and say, what questions would you have after reading this? Obviously, they're going to be a little biased knowing what it is that you offer, or, how that structure is going to be. But they would be like, well, I mean, I wouldn't know how much I'm going to make, after my first year. Or I wouldn't know that, we take early Fridays during the summertime, things of that nature, right? Or what it is that you're missing that does make you stand out from the agency down the road. Because with the templates that we do offer for creating these job ads, if you're only using the templates, you are missing so much about what makes you unique. And what makes you stand out from the agency down the road. And the same thing with the benefit section as well, because at the end of the day, all of our clients have access to these. So with the benefits too, keeping in mind, if you have any out of the box, I mean, Kelly, I saw one that even had something about an office dog.
I was going to say office dog.
Yeah. We have one at work, so it's like, it's perfect. But, just a couple of examples, of that, or like how I mentioned, summertime hours, whatever makes you unique is what we want to see inside of this ad.
You want to entice the candidate in and to kind of imagine being sat in a seat and working for you.
Yeah. People often think of those responsibilities and the requirements as that's what you need the most of. But I mean, think about it. When, selling an auto policy, do you really tell them about all the bad things that aren't covered under it? Or that's going to be required, if you do all the hours of paperwork, all those things, et cetera, before they even, sign the policy. Of course not. You don't overwhelm them with all of that information. Obviously during the interview process, you can really dive in more into what it is specifically, but this should just be a good idea as to what they can expect about 90% of their day to entail, what it would be like in your company culture, and how that would be beneficial to them. Because let's be real, I kind of have an outgoing personality, right? And if your office is more on the reserve side, we are more laid back, things of that nature. Would I be a good fit for you? Probably not. And that's perfectly okay. But maybe you just need someone that's more, a bit on the reserve side. And the good thing too is that our personality assessments really help determine what those key attributes are. You can easily assess yourself, your colleagues, friends, family. If you have an IdealTraits package, I believe almost all of them, other than a few select ones in regards to just some of our limited packages. But you have a limited amount of assessments that you can send during your time, during your subscription time with us. Utilize them. Utilize them for being able to understand yourself, the personality traits that you are specifically looking for. So this way, when that person that applies that maybe doesn't have all of the requirements that you need, you can still say, well, at one point I was probably that same individual, right? I probably didn't have my license right as soon as I, got on this earth. However, took some time, it took some experience, right? Candidates have to start off somewhere.
Yeah.
And then being able to move them throughout those different hiring stages really allows you to then determine, is this like the actual drive that they want? We can't guarantee that every single person, won't change their mind. However, we can provide you with the tools that at which makes you better understand, what it is that makes them tick and makes them motivated, what makes them, more on the cautious side, or what helps out with their analytical skills, right? Because in regards to paperwork and things like that, I am so forgetful. So would someone probably want me doing billing? Maybe not. And that's okay. But at the end of the day, we utilize these assessments to then understand the position that I'm at as an employee, as well as who I was.
Great baseline for your staff.
When I first started.
And obviously, if anybody does need any help with kind of adding candidates manually, there is a Help Center article on being able to add candidates manually. Especially for your staff, you don't have to select resume in there, but there's loads of Help Center articles always being updated on kind of personalities, on all manner of topics, adding candidates, even one on like using different sources, there's blog posts, all sorts. So there's an extensive resource of articles out there to help you should you need it. And obviously the client success team are there as well should you need to chat with them or schedule a call with them as well. So,
and you can easily do that from the help tab at the very top of your IdealTraits account. You can easily then start a chat with us. We do have a new chat tree that we just ask that you get through, because at the end of the day, a lot of the questions that we're being asked, they are now answered inside of there for you. Super convenient, especially for after hours or weekends, things of that nature. But you can also schedule a call from there as well. In regards to going over those personalities and such, I mean, the great unique thing about us is that if you click into that that candidate's profile, right, you easily then can select their personality. And we recently introduced a learn more option that at which you can utilize for really understanding the bullet points of their strengths, their areas that they will need support. What are good interview questions, right? Would this person be good for cold calling or for customer service, right? These are different questions that are answered for each specific personality that someone could come back as. So if you do have any questions about being able to access that, please do feel free to reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to get you those resources.
Yeah.
But excellent. That is really all I had. Kelly, was there anything else that you had wanted to add?
There's not much more I would add, other than obviously if you find that you don't have time, obviously I know we'd mentioned candidate engagement, and if you don't have time to get in contact with your candidates, we do have services available for that. So if you go check out the marketplace, there is a candidate engagement program for that. We do have the new video integration tool that is available to you as well, which is super helpful. Can actually help with your pre-screening process, make it faster, I believe by 75%. Apparently that's the stats on that one. And yeah, candidate engagement program can really help with, if you're having issues ghosting, completing assessments, things like that. So check out the marketplace. There's lots of cool stuff in there that just help you make your hiring process as easy as possible. That's what we're here to do. So
yeah, always be hiring at the end of the day, because at some point, Kelly or Trevor, who I'm sure that you might have seen on previous webinars, they want to reach out, hear about your experience with us. How can we do better, right? But at the end of the day, we want to still make sure that you are, you're meeting your goals and such, and that we're here to continue to help you out, not only this year, but in the years to come as well, because everyone at the end of the day will probably be looking to hire at some point in time, unless you're a solo agency. And if so, that's okay. Maybe you still need some admin help at the end of the day, right? So always be hiring, definitely. And Kelly made a great point about checking out our marketplace for, video interview tools, candidate engagement, things of that nature. But yeah, that is really all I have for today. I'm not seeing any questions pop in. So Kelly, thank you so much for offering your insight. It's always a joy to have you.
Thanks,
And
Monica. Pleasure.
of course, yes. And next week we will be going over marketing one ad to multiple audiences. So definitely be sure to check that one out. You'll get an email about signing up for it. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. But as always, have an ideal day and happy hiring to you.